Phenomena. Hi there. My name is James Cullen. I'm a composer from Auckland, New Zealand. I am a massive fan of Austin Wintory, and he's put up a competition, as he does. I think he's done it for a couple of years now, but where he's taken a part of an existing score that he's worked on. In this case, this time, Fireteam Elite Aliens, that game. And given it out to his community, then asked them to rearrange, reharmonize, remix, do anything they want with it. So this year I'm going to give it a crack. And I thought I would record the process along the way. Hello? Because I don't know, why not? Think it might be interesting. So I started recording yesterday, and I had just woken up. That's kind of similar to today, but feeling a bit more lively than I was yesterday. So yesterday's recordings, to begin with, I'm a little low energy, but it does pick up. So it's currently a incredibly gorgeous day outside. As spring is upon us. So in a usual musician's attempt to do something with a beautiful day, I'm going to stay inside and write music all day. I have a basic idea of taking the YouTube video itself that Austin actually announces the contest in, and manipulating it. Which part to choose and how to manipulate, I shall figure out soon. I think I've got my thing that I want to manipulate. Austin left one of his cues in that video. Well, he put one of his cues in that video that one of the previous contest winners remixed that he put in the game. But I've just taken it and slowed it down, and I found this part that I like. I think I'm going to take that, sort of boost it, and then throw it into that rhythm that he's prescribed. I think. We'll see. So I've taken that sample, stretched it, and then sort of faded in the volume, and then using Valhalla's Supermassive, which you cannot see. Darn. If you play with the delay and the warp as it's playing around with most like delays and whatnot, it comes with some interesting sounds. So it sounds like this at the moment. And then also your Collegno strings playing that rhythm, so I don't forget what it is. Oh, cool, I was actually recording. I didn't even realize. I took that sample here, which had the Supermassive on, froze it, chucked it in here, tried it with this crappy free guitar amp, didn't really like it, but that's what the frozen wave single looks like. Chucked it onto the next track, pitched it down an octave, reverb, saturated it a bit, over the top Ableton's multiband dynamics, which is just always has the coolest sounds to it, and then gave it a bit of a smile in the EQ, because smiles are great. It's getting weirder. Kind of imagining it introing it somehow, and then the rhythm will take over top of that. See where it goes. I have chucked on that Supermassive delay on these Collegno strings and automated them slightly so that warp comes down. So they've still got the rhythm, but they sound a bit weird, don't they? I sound a bit weird, don't I? And then also a bit of synth to begin the thing, which brings it to our sample. Which is quite subdued. Yeah, starting to build a framework. What I really want to do, actually, though, is take Austin's voice and manipulate it somehow, because that would be interesting. Where is he?
Thank you all again. It was so inspiring.
Be kind of. Thank you.
Thank you all again. Thank you all again.
Ableton has this wonderful delay called the grain delay, which when you put it on vocals does all kinds of weird things. It's always a bit out of sync though, because the fully wet delay is what you hear. When it's fully dry, it's well, I've transposed him down.
Thank you all again.
Where was he? 16 semitones down. But when you put a full wet on the grain delay, you can shift around using this node, and go between frequency and pitch, or you can choose them, which ones you want to modulate. But you can get some really interesting sounds. You get some kind of ambient under noise there. If I was to put on a bunch of reverb. I've gotten somewhere weird. I reversed the sample, pitched it up, put some reverb on it. Valhalla's space modulator and supermassive, because it's just so much fun. And then also put a bit of auto pan, which when you put it in phase, so usually it'll have a left to right pan, but if you put it in phase, it becomes a tremolo of sorts. Somewhere in there is something that I'm going to use. So, yeah. Nagel hip is what I'm hearing. I have now taken those effects, froze them, and then bounced them to a new track. And now you can kind of hear him saying thank you all again. Sorry, after reversing it. Also, I have realized that OBS is not recording stereo for some reason, so these clips, you won't have stereo panning, so sorry. Of course, the most important part of doing something like this is getting some coffee. I'll be right back. Alright, coffee has been acquired. And an apple. Because you gotta eat your apples. Alright, I think it's time to start incorporating some actual musical elements instead of just doing sound design and sound manipulation. Like maybe some bass. Oh, that sounds nasty. I think this track is gonna just be nasty. Ableton has some great bass sounds. It's also too hot. Oh, that duplicated? Hell yeah, dude. Tell you what, and we can MIDI map them both to this. Get rid of that one. And get rid of this. Yeah. Make that one an octave down for fatness. Wow. That wasn't sarcastic. Something like that. Ableton has a fantastic feature where if you hit this button up here, it captures what you just did. So that if you weren't recording and you're like, I want that, then you hit that button and you get that. Can't remember if it does modulation. If it does, it might be slightly after the fact. Doesn't do Ableton, doesn't do modulation. So let's just record it. Some Mick Gordon influence coming in there. Hell yeah, dude. Here's a bug that I haven't come across. My plugin is stuck up in a corner that I can't move it. But I guess this gives away the fact that I'm gonna get into some drums next. Once I can figure out how to get it back. Back in a tick. Right, before I get too far ahead and recreate that, the meme, this is kind of what I've done. So added in some percussion, filled out the groove. Those metal hits sort of taking the rhythm, the prescribed rhythm from Austin, away from the Coleno strings. And then just did a bit more arranging, put a 4 on the floor when everything comes in, put some risers into it, and did a bit of modulation in some places. Sounds like. And so on and so forth. Sounds kind of like some kind of weird industrial track so far, but I'm liking it. Ableton just crashed. Hello? So it's been a bit. Yeah, I might have done quite a bit. Let's have a listen, shall we? Yeah.
I'm gonna go have a look at the law. We got the park and check our frisbee around.
Me. Oh! We broke the frisbee. Sad. Hello. I'm back. It was some fun frisbee times to be had. Brass. Something like that. I'm a massive fan of Spitfire Labs. You can create so much amazing stuff for free with what they've got. Especially, I'm a big fan of this amplified cello quartet. Let's try and work it in. Something like that. I think that's going to call it for a day. Spent probably a good 4 hours on this, but getting there. Really interesting process. I'm loving it, especially kind of having the sound manipulation aspects in there and working around them, and then also just having a predetermined rhythm to work to. But yeah, good fun. See you tomorrow. So after reviewing the footage, sorry about the glasses glare. Can't help but be an evil anime villain when I'm looking at computer screens. Every time I said modulation, I meant automation, trying to not recreate the meme of the circle and then draw the rest of the L. I ended up doing that because I didn't record enough. But tomorrow, hopefully when this is finished, I'm hoping to have it finished tomorrow, go through the individual elements and see how they compositionally all fall together, and show you the process along the way. So I know I said that I was going to call it quits in a previous clip, but I didn't. I carried on until probably 2 o'clock in the morning. So now things look a little bit nicer and a bit different, because file organization. What did I do? I grouped things into more tracks. I grouped things into the kind of particular parts, like instrumentation, these other sound design and sound manipulated stuff. This is all percussion. This is the bass by itself, plus there's a sub bass there for that part. Just because I find mixing individual parts to be quite daunting when there's just a ton of them like laid out in front of you. So if you work group by group and solo the individual groups, it can be a bit easier to put everything together. I haven't had a listen to it this morning, but I had a bunch of listens last night, and I've got some notes. It's a good thing to do is when you get a certain amount through making a piece or a song or a clip or whatever, render it out, whatever you've got at the end of that day, take it away, and like later on that night or the next day or something like that, listen to it on like some crappy headphones through some speakers, because you'll always hear different things than when you're using your usual monitors or cans or whatever. So yeah, I got a couple notes that I'm going to try and work through today, but let's, for the record, just have a listen now. There's the occasional pops and clicks because things are still loading in. Just stop it there because that part's not finished, and just kind of repeats. But I'm not actually sure how much more I'll kind of add to that. It's sounding Like, it's getting there. I think it's probably like 70 or 80%. But yeah, I've got some notes that I worked through last night. That I wrote up last night that I'm going to try and work through today. Because, yeah, when you're in the thick of making things, sometimes there's a good chance to step back. So you can't, do what I was doing then, racing around looking at all the MIDI files and thinking about how arrangements come about. When you're listening on headphones fully removed from your DAW, arrangement can become a lot easier because you're listening to the whole thing instead of micromanaging. So yeah, I'm gonna go have a look at my notes and see if I can do some things. I'll see you around. Maybe right now. So if we're going through for a video of my process, I may as well show you kind of every nook and cranny. Sounds weird. If we're going through, these are the notes that I took last night. Broccoli, banana. No. Final mix is still too quiet somehow. That's more of a mastering thing. Up the tritone part, when it goes to the synth is playing da 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 da, is up a tritone. Different time rhythm, third and second time. Yeah, it needs a bit of stuff. Remove the Q warp after the tritone part. Oh, yeah. Here's a good note. Be specific with your notes instead of writing them at 3 a.m. thinking, oh, yeah, no, I'll remember that. Sometimes. Dynamics and metal hits might help percussion backing. Yeah. Rise after ambient part. Yep. McGordon part, second time round. Acknowledging influence. McGordon part is the final synth part, which sounds like it's from Doom a little bit. McGordon part, second time round is where you should finish the piece. Have an end point. Otherwise, you'll just keep going and going and going and going. And then never finish anything and never put it out ever. So, those are my notes. Let's try and action them. Okay, I think I am getting close to the end. I've actioned my notes to the best of my ability. The one that's like, it's too quiet. I'm not a mastering engineer, and my gosh, the sun has come out. How beautiful. I'm not a mastering engineer, so it is what it is. And I've got an idea sort of just for the end bit here, so I thought I'd bring you along for the ride to figure out what I'm going to do, to show you what I'm going to try and do. So we've got this kind of very growly part, like I wanted to have this part at the end, where the synth is just doing its own thing, because it's quite a cool synth sound. And I'm basically going to end it here with sort of a dramatic swell up. But my idea is to, in movie trailers, they have the like a lot of hard and fast cuts where they just duck all the volume. So it's like da, 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 da. I want to do that, but with the rhythm that the triplet rhythm that Austin gave to work on. So I'll play you the end. This. That's going to be the end, but I'm just going to fully ripping out the audio. Actually, I'm doing the inverse of what I want. What I want is this. We'll give it the rhythm. So the one after, one after, one after. And excuse me, the one after. The one after. The one after. Now I'll just do the same thing to the synth. To the synths and see what kind of sound we get. Do 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 do. Nickelodeon. There's a weed whacker outside my room. Yes. The other thing about cutting off MIDI, you have to make sure that the MIDI starts in the segment. Which it does not at all. But if I do this, this might be a bit tedious, but we should get that synth popping off. Doo-doo. See, after all of that, I'm like, yeah, it's not the greatest. Maybe because, let me have a play around. So it's been a while. I played around a lot with that ending and ended up with what I had originally done, but just put a bit more risers and stuff into it to flush it out, and then also automated ending of the synth, as well as dropping the reverb at the end of it, which really gave it that sort of right in your face, that feeling. Which is cool. That's how I think I'll end it. Now I'm kind of just going through, listening right through, noting bits that I want to change and just doing minor adjustments, which I think means that I'm getting pretty close to done. I'm excited to share it, so I want to get it out. Now, you get excited about finishing a project, and sometimes the overzealousness can lead you to share it, and then you look back at it after it's already out, and you're like, I could have done more. But oh well, it is what it is. I think I am going to call it there. I'm going to have a couple listens through and then maybe do some minor adjustments, but I think it's kind of close. It's been a ton of fun. I actually really enjoyed also kind of digging into my own process and recording these clips. One, because it shows off how bad I am talking at a camera, but two, kind of when you teach something, you learn more about the way you do something when you teach it. It's cool. I really enjoyed it. Massive thank you to Austin Wintory for just being who he is, but also putting out this competition. It was a huge spark of motivation while we're currently in lockdown here in New Zealand. Not the funnest thing. Yeah, it was. This has been really, really fun. Good luck to everyone else. I'm gonna go through and listen to every single one. How do people finish these videos? Never done this myself. Take care. Goodbye. Don't go.